I pushed the door open. 2 a.m. The cold New York wine slipped into my collar. The briefcase in my hand felt heavy. After working this late, the only thing in my head was the 6-foot bed waiting for me. The living room light was on. That wasn't normal. My wife, Amelia, always went to bed early. I took off my coat. The room smelled different. Not Amelia's usual perfume, cedar, mixed with cheap tobacco. 2 men were sitting on the couch. No, more precisely, a man and my wife in her silk pajamas. They were sitting close. Amelia's knee was almost touching his thigh. The man was Jack, Amelia's former coworker, the jerk who got fired 6 months ago for harassing a subordinate. "Sweetheart, you're back," Amelia said, standing up. She wasn't wearing slippers. Barefoot. Her ankles were pale, but under the light she looked uneasy. Jack didn't stand. He leaned back on my leather couch, flicking a lighter in his hand. He looked up at me. No guilt in his eyes, just a tired kind of provocation. "He's in a bad mood," Amelia explained. I didn't say anything. I walked into the kitchen and poured myself a glass of ice water. The ice clinking against the glass sounded unusually loud in the dead-silent living room. "So you let him into the house at 11 at night?" I took a sip and looked at her. Amelia bit her lip. "He texted me downstairs. Said he was standing by the Manhattan Bridge thinking about jumping. He was right outside the building. I couldn't just let him die, David." I nodded and set the glass down. Then I walked into the bedroom. The sheets had been changed. To the dark purple silk set I hated most. The one Jack gave Amelia for her birthday last year. I told her to throw it away, but she said it was just a normal coworker gift. There was a short, stiff brown hair on the pillow. When I turned around, Amelia was standing behind me. She tried to grab my sleeve. "We were just talking in the living room, David. Nothing happened." I shook her off and walked back into the living room, stopping in front of Jack. Jack finally stood up. He was a little taller than me, but his hungover eyes were puffy. "Come on, man. Don't be so sensitive," he said with a grin. "Amelia's just kind." I had nowhere to go. All the hotels were full. All the hotels in New York. I asked. "Big game tonight." He shrugged like it was nothing. I bent down and reached into the trash can under the coffee table. I pulled something out. A condom wrapper. Blue. Okamoto. I don't use that brand. Too tight. I tossed the wrapper at Amelia's feet. "This part of saving his life too?" I asked. Amelia's face went pale instantly. She stared at the blue plastic like it was a ticking bomb. Jack's smile disappeared. He instinctively touched his pocket. "David, let me explain." Amelia's voice started shaking. "No need," I said calmly. "Jack, you can get the hell out now. Take your cedar stink and your pride and get out of the apartment I paid for." Jack snorted, grabbed his coat, and shouldered past me toward the door. "Wait," I said. He turned around. "You forgot your watch," I said, pointing toward the bedroom. It was a Rolex Submariner. I knew that watch. Jack once posted online about saving 3 years to buy it as a reward for himself. Jack froze for a moment, then turned to head into the bedroom. I stepped in front of the door. I said, "Get out." I didn't say take your stuff. "That's my watch," he shouted. "Now it's my compensation. Or you can call the cops. I'm sure they'd love to handle a late-night civil dispute caused by trespassing and adultery. While they're at it, I'll send a picture of that condom wrapper to your new company. Your boss is Smith, right? I know him. He hates moral scandals." Jack's face turned from red to purple. His fists clenched. I stared at him. In the end he didn't dare swing. Like a stray dog with a broken leg, he stormed out the door. The door slammed shut. Amelia collapsed to her knees, sobbing. I was just confused for a moment. He kept begging me. He said his life was miserable. "David, I love you. You're the one I really love." I looked at the woman I'd been married to for 3 years. Even crying, she was still beautiful. But now she only made me feel sick. I walked into the study and took a stack of papers from the safe. A divorce agreement. I'd prepared it 3 weeks ago. I hadn't signed it yet. I was waiting, for the moment that would make me completely give up. Tonight, she delivered that moment herself. I threw the papers in front of her. "Sign it." "I won't. I don't want anything, I just want you to forgive me." She grabbed my leg. "You have to sign," I said, looking down at her. "This apartment is my premarital property. The BMW under your name, I paid for it in full. The agreement is clear, if you cheat during the marriage, you leave with nothing. Including the car." Amelia stopped crying. She looked up at me, eyes full of fear. "You already knew. 2 weeks ago you took him to the Hilton. A week ago you were kissing on a bench in Central Park. David isn't blind, Amelia. I crouched down and looked straight into her eyes. The reason I've been working so much overtime is because I needed time to transfer all my company shares. Right now the only things in my name are this apartment and that car I'm about to take back. Even if we split assets, you won't get a penny. Amelia slumped onto the floor. You're insane, she whispered. I'm a businessman. I don't make losing deals. I stood up. Now pack your things. You have 10 minutes. After that, I'm changing the locks. It's still dark outside. Where am I supposed to go? She cried in despair. Go save Jack's life. Isn't he waiting downstairs? I walked into the bathroom and turned on the faucet. I washed my hands. Carefully. 10 minutes later, Amelia stood at the door with an old suitcase. She didn't take the designer coat. She knew she didn't dare. The moment she stepped outside, I locked the door. I tossed the Rolex down the drain. Then I sat on the couch. The spot where Jack had been sitting was still warm. I picked up my phone. Smith. It's David. That new assistant you hired, Jack, broke into my apartment tonight. Yeah, I've got proof. No need to thank me. Trash like that doesn't belong in this industry. I hung up. Outside the window, dawn over New York was slowly breaking. I turned on the stereo. The music drowned out Amelia's final cries outside the door. Then I remembered I hadn't eaten dinner yet. I walked into the kitchen. I decided to cook myself the most expensive Wagyu steak I had. Life was good,